Dark Ages. But, yeah, you have to understand. Well, yeah, I'm overdue. I'm up against a hard break. I'll pick this up after the break.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. Then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-616-8010. That's 1-800-616-8010. Again, 1-800-616-8010. Call now.
Did you ever look at the stains in your coffee cup and then realize that's exactly what happens to your teeth? Power Swabs is the 5-minute solution to get your teeth white without visiting the dentist. This is Ben Gordon with Power Swabs, and if your teeth are stained from coffee, tea, or smoking, all it takes is 5 minutes with Power Swabs. In 5 minutes, you'll see an average of 2 shades whiter teeth, and in 7 days, 6 shades. It's clinically proven to whiten natural teeth as well as caps and veneers. The secret is a tooth detergent that was developed by Dr. Martin Ginniger that lifts stains off of your teeth. Best of all, there's no messy strips or trays that you have to leave in your mouth for an hour. Just swab your teeth for 5 minutes and you're done. To try Power Swabs risk-free, call 1-800-291-5140. That's 1-800-291-5140. I guarantee your bright white smile will have your friends talking about how great you look. Try it risk-free today. 1-800-291-5140. That's 1-800-291-5140.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
I considered suicide so I wouldn't put my family through all the pain.
Many of our warriors are returning home from the battlefield, only to face a new war as they struggle with devastating injuries. At Wounded Warrior Project, we understand. We're there to help.
Even though you think you're broken, you're not. It's the physical and the emotional healing that Wounded Warrior Project provides.
With a gift of just $19 a month, you can join Wounded Warrior Project. You'll help provide critically needed programs and services that rebuild lives.
Beautiful. Woo! There you go, buddy.
The ongoing needs of our wounded and their families will continue for many years to come. Now is the time to show your support. Call now or go online with your gift of just $19 a month and we'll send you this Wounded Warrior Project blanket.
It made me feel that there's people out there that care about us.
After this event, we can finally maybe start to heal as a family and move forward.
We need your help. The families are hurting.
For many of our wounded heroes, the greatest casualty is being forgotten. That's why your gift of just $19 a month is so important. Please call or go online right now.
listening to The Rod Eccles Show.
603-835-3224 is the number to call to speak to yours truly, your lovable host, me, here on The Rod Eccles Show this Wednesday. You know, I really wasn't paying attention how time flies on this program. I say that this is the fastest 2 hours in internet talk radio, and I'm not kidding. I mean, that first segment, first half hour went by like, wow, snap. Can you hear the snap? Snap. It was so it sort of took me off guard when I actually saw my screen, and it was because I have a system that, you know, it warns me of when breaks are coming up, and it was flashing at me, and I wasn't paying attention to it, and then I did pay attention to it, and it was, you know, so I had to abruptly break, which I don't normally do, because I just want you to have this information, folks. I'm excited to bring you this information daily. And I know that I have been traveling a lot lately. One, you know, there was my father's health, and his eventual passing was very tough on this program, for me to do this program. And I don't, even when I was dealing with that, folks, I got to tell you, I considered sitting here in the Freedom Throne in the Bunker Eyes home studio speaking to you as therapy for me. Because one of the main reasons is that I know that my father, in the end, and he indicated this, that he was proud of me and what I was doing, even though when I first started doing this in 2009, both of my parents said, you know, they kind of questioned and said, why would you want to fight with those folks again? And I've already relayed to what the again means, because I had done it before when I was in high school. And my mother especially, she was like, you know, it's. Do you think you can really make a difference? Now, I got to tell you, my mother has come around it. And when I tell her that, look, I have to, I'm going to be at this meeting or this event, and I'm the keynote speaker, I see the pride and beaming in my mother's eyes, and she smiles. And I know that my father was very proud of me, of doing and sticking with this, because this is not something that's easy to do. It's really not. And somebody asked me last night when I was meeting with those old and new friends, somebody asked me if I liked politics. And I didn't even have to think twice about it. I said, I hate politics. I do. I really do. I hate politics, and I have a strong disliking for most politicians on both sides of the political aisle. But I understand that it is a necessary part of our life. But in order to get through it and to make politics better, you have to understand human history and how we got to this point, politically speaking. Because politics has always been a part of life, whether we like it or not. Now, I can like it, I can love it, or I can hate it. That doesn't change anything about politics. It only changes how I view it. Now, for people who absolutely love politics, now I got to tell you, you really got to be careful about people who absolutely love politics, because those are the people that you have to watch, because they're the ones that are going to want power over you. And this has been the case since time immemorial. You know, we have come to the point now where of the last 150, 200 years, where we've had the rise of alternative governance and in strong central governments in nations. It used to be that, you know, if you wanted, there were two classes of people pretty much before the United States really came into being. There were two classes of people only. There was the rich, or hierarchy, You could call them ladies and lords, kings, people who are members of the court and the higher business people of the day, the rich, the wealthy. And then you had the pauper class, the poor class. There was no such thing as a middle class. And that's true throughout history. There was, I guess you had two lower. You had the paupers and you had the slaves. Slaves were lower than the poor. At least the poor may have had something. The slaves had nothing. But and if you were a slave or a pauper, it was nearly impossible for you to improve your station in life. And often the only way, let me repeat that, often the only way you could improve your station was to take it from somebody else. So that may have meant that if you had, back in the day, political ambitions, you were going to have to challenge militarily those who were in power. You were going to have to somehow overthrow your government, or your king, your queen, or emperor, what have you, and then take the helm. And usually, it wasn't somebody from the... Now, you had another way of doing it. In a lot of, in historical cases, in a lot of different countries, you had another way of doing it. If you were poor, if you were born in the pauper class, there was one way for you to rise from your station of birth. And that was through military. You could go into the military, become a great warrior, rise through the ranks and become, general, whatever they called them. And that would give you power and influence, not so much from the people, but from the military. And all throughout history, whoever had the loyalty of the military basically had the ability to rule the country. So if you had a king who lost the respect of his generals, and if one of those generals had an ambition, he could overthrow the king. And it was almost always a bloody coup. Now, if you were poor, it was nearly impossible for you to earn your way, money-wise, to become rich. Yes, there were people who were able to do it. Oftentimes, when you actually read their life stories, you find out that they didn't actually earn it all. They worked for somebody, and that person either willed, gave them their estate when they passed, or they murdered and took over their boss's estate. Happened a lot. But with that, there was no system of safety nets. The government didn't take care of you. The government provided very little for you. And oftentimes, government provided nothing, which is why sometimes, like in the French Revolution, you had the people finally rising up because their government, their king, was providing nothing, even in a time of extreme famine. Now, usually when you had a time of famine, there were government stores of foodstuffs that they would disseminate for the people. And that wasn't because the king or queen or ruler was so benevolent, but they also understood that two things. You had to have a well-fed population in order to keep your power and keep your military and your people happy enough so you stay in power, and to keep your borders secure. And you also, again, military, you had to be able to feed them in order for them to stay on your side. Now, there were some rulers of historical note that forgot that simple lesson.